All right. So let's just go, Max. Let's talk about it. I'll tell you, I watched the Oregon game and I'm thinking, damn, I love a walk-on story as much as anybody, right? As somebody in that community, right? You guys feel me there.
Me too.
I know your story, bro. So we need to start talking about Stetson Bennett. Stetson Bennett is not like the walk-on, won a natty. Like, dude's a baller. You saw it firsthand. It's early, but this is what we do on Mondays, apparently. It's the Overreaction Monday. So Heisman favorite, is that an overreaction? Why or why not?
Listen, I'm going to say, as it stands as this moment, as we have 3 weeks into the season, we have a body of work. Stetson Bennett has over 950 yards passing.
Yes.
No interceptions, 5 tutties, and he also has rushing touchdowns and rushing to him. So when you look at it, I have to say, yes, this is an odds-on favorite in the moment because that's just what he does. He is a guy that is getting the job done. He's rushing, he's moving, he's throwing the ball down the field. He has receivers, he has tight ends. This team looks more complete than it did a year ago. So I have to give much respect to him and say, as of right now, tell me somebody that's going to compete with him. And I'll say there's some, but as it stands right now, number 1 team in the country and the quarterback's playing like a number 1 quarterback, I have to say I can't fight it. So I don't think it's an overreaction at this moment.
Ooh, what say you, Felder?
I can't disagree with that. I really, here's the thing for me. Bryce Young's going to have the hardest time to win the Heisman out of anyone because he has to do more than he did a year ago. CJ Stroud is who people want to give the Heisman to. But Stetson Bennett, if they keep playing this type of offense, and Max, I'm so glad you hit on it because Georgia fans, they spent so much time being bitter and upset about, no, we could throw the ball if we wanted to throw the ball. If we wanted to do it, we could do it. And I was like, yeah, but you didn't do it. Now you're starting to do it. Now Darnell Washington has become a player. Now we're seeing them be a little inventive offensively. And I'm sorry, I got family that's from Missouri, the show me state. So I don't have to believe anything until I see it. And now I'm seeing it, and they should be the number 1 team in the country. It's a team that, Yogi, you're a quarterback guy. Like, they're letting Stetson run around. Like, the only thing that he can't do is throw the ball as far as some of these other quarterbacks, right? Everything else he does very, very well. Am I wrong with that, Yogi?
No, he was in the Oregon game. That dude was money. And what I saw from the weekend, from the game Saturday, same deal. He's deserving of it. So let's have the conversation then. Do either one of you guys vote for the Heisman?
No.
I
won't.
You should.
Will not.
You should, and you should vote for in the AP poll. That's another discussion.
The problem is, listen, I've already been cut out of a video for Turner about the Heisman because I said that it's obviously a lot of people that don't watch football because the fact that Ndamukong Suh couldn't be your leader, the front runner, the fact that a defensive lineman or an offensive lineman couldn't be the guy at the top of the board.
Yeah.
That gives me pause, but that's I'll shoulder that burden myself.
Okay, we'll get into that one, I'm sure, in November. But with that said, I'm a Heisman voter. I've been in the last couple of years.
Right.
And I got that honor,
you don't want to be associated with me.
I went right to the definition. And the definition is the most outstanding player in college football who exhibits excellence with integrity. It's not best quarterback. It's not best player on the best team. It's the definition that I just referenced. I'm going to repeat that. I say that because there hasn't been one preseason favorite who's won the Heisman since Leinart won it. So what do? Preseason favorite, pick them apart all year long. Find a darling story, ride it up, right? Yes. Manti Te'o documentary is a great example, right?
Sure.
Like, he was one of the most outstanding players in college football who exhibited excellence with integrity. And that might be debated after you watch the doc, but like, regardless, like, the narrative of college football matters, and we get to help shape that. So with that said, when you look at, like, how do either one of you define it? As we're saying, hey, Stetson for a favorite, is that a favorite in like what history has proven the Heisman to be over the last 10, 15 years? Or is that like how you see the most outstanding player with integrity? Max, I'll start with you.
Well, I think I look at it, I think it has to be excellence on the field. That's a precursor, right? You've got to be good at what you do to even get in the conversation. Because, look at the guy that Stetson played against this last weekend, Spencer Rattler, right? Heisman favorite last year. Well, boom, got benched. Caleb Williams, rest is history. Now he's a South Carolina Gamecock. And so I think of Stetson and kind of the path, right? Is that he's ascended from last year to this year when we talk about him transforming as a quarterback and as a person. Like you said, there's a great story there when you're talking about the walk on, leave, go to JUCO, come back as a scholarship athlete, third option on the team that eventually takes over, 5 games into the season last year, takes his team all the way to a natty. And now this year, we don't expect anything from him. It's like he doesn't look the part. He's 5'11", 190. You know what I'm saying? Like, you don't picture a quarterback looking like that. But and also he can throw the ball, unlike Eric Crouch. He can actually throw the football. I'm still scorned about Rex not winning that Heisman, by the way. If you
Larry Fitzgerald too. Yeah.
Oh yeah,
Fitz would have been in there too. I give it. Yeah, Fitz was another one. But I think about it, and I think Stetson, because of this team and because of what the pressure is on Georgia to repeat, right? You lost 15 guys to the draft, and they haven't missed a beat. And the confidence within this team, the way they look at Stetson as a true unequivocal leader, I thought it resonates versus, like you said, think about the integrity. He already has that integrity and he shows it, and he's already a local legend, right? This guy's going to be the next Rudy Story when it's all said and done. But that's what I think of. I didn't think of it as definitively as the definition has it, Yogi. But at the same time, it feels like that without knowing the exact words to put on it.
Yeah. How about you, Max? Excuse me, Michael. How would you define it, or how would you put the person that's the lead right now in that position based on your definition?
So I'm of a couple different mindsets. I think that yes, I think Stetson belongs in that conversation because he is ultimately it looks like, honestly, a guy that looks like him shouldn't be doing what he's doing, and he's the most outstanding player on what ultimately is probably going to end up being the most outstanding team as well. So I love that part of it. But the other part for me is I'm looking at these other positions, and I'm looking at the two Jalen's at Washington, right?
Yeah.
Jalen. And the way that they show up. And I'm looking at Penix as well, because wow, what a day he had.
Mm-hmm.
And then we also went from Max, we were on a week ago, 2 weeks ago, talking about Anthony Richardson. And we're like, oh, he's the best. He's the greatest ever. And now we're like, oh, he can't throw the ball past 7 yards. So, and Yogi, this goes back to a thing that you and I have been through, like obviously working with Trent with the Elite 11, and Anthony Richardson still has to figure out how to become a surgeon, not a butcher, right?
Yeah.
So there's these guys that have an opportunity, but Stetson Bennett is seizing the moment. He's seizing it. He's living in that moment, and they're giving him more work to do. And I think for me, and I think about it in comparison to someone like Devin Leary. Devin Leary, he's got it all in his racket, same as Stetson Bennett. Stetson Bennett, obviously more talent around him, but Stetson Bennett appears, at least to me, to be seizing that moment, where Devin Leary, the moment feels very big for him, and he's still figuring out how to manage it all. Does that make sense?
We're dropping our merch.
We got to start calling Underwood Daddy Brad. But I'm a big odd guy. Breaking news. The Field of 68 has an online store, and it's your one-stop shop for the latest and greatest merch in college basketball and college football. You can find shirts to support your favorite team, make fun of your rival team, or boast Field of 68 catchphrases like Daddy Brad, Cussin' and Discussin', and the Star Heels. Go to www.fieldof68.shop today and enter promo code touchdown for 20% off at checkout.
I think there was something to be said, even just watching the opener. I go back to that because I had Oregon the second week.
Yeah.
And I remember talking to Bo Nix and prior to the game, and he was like, look, for us as a collective unit, that was the first time we did anything together.
Yeah.
When there was a stadium, and now make it basically a home game for Georgia, like performance anxiety, except all those things. Like, I don't think Georgia's 49-3 better than Oregon. Oregon 29 missed tackles. But my point was, like, they've been there together. Like, they've been on those stages. So I think it's interesting because they go up against the mighty Kent State this weekend, and then it's Missouri, Auburn, Vanderbilt. Like, it is a weak week for everybody who only has 8 conference games, including Georgia. So we'll see. But to your point, I like that. I want to run by real quick before we move on to the next topic. This is how I look at the Heisman. I put together like this document of like 10 points that I assess every week looking at it. Okay. One is competitive dominance. Like, within that is consistency in your performance. 2 is the Power 5 filter. Like, I won't care about the Kent State game unless it's bad. For instance, for him, like it doesn't really matter in my evaluation for him unless it's bad. 3 is what I pay money to go watch this guy play. Do I want to go see him play? 4 is like, can they process? How do they do it? And are they asked to do it? So I think that's a part of like the excellence that I want to see, especially on big stages. The it factor, which is, can people feel your presence and you make those around you better? 6 is the injury factor. Like, were they injured? How do they handle it when they did get injured? What do they handle when they're banged up? Like, I think there's so much that goes into the hearts and minds of players when they're a little banged up, and everybody will as the season goes on, as well as the injuries around them. I want to know, like, hey, what happened to left tackle? Like, is that why they had a bad game? Is number 1 and 2 receiver were out, whatever it may be. 7 is, did you win the conference? I think you got to like be a champion. I think you have to win games, or at least it's a factor for me. 8 is like, I dive into the analytics, just because it's so part of it. 9 is like, what's integrity like? Like, are they in the community? What are they doing beyond themselves? Is it only about themselves? And then finally is like big stages. And I give them a real time grade. And then I go back and look at it. And I'm like, all right, what did I really think when I watched it? And then, like, what did the film really tell me? And then bonuses if you're a captain or not. So those, I try to like nerd out when I got the honor.
So what you're telling me is Christian Wilkins should have been in New York City. Christian
McCaffrey should have won it, right? Yeah. Like Larry.
That's all. All I'm doing is, this isn't just a quarterback thing, right?
Yeah, no. I mean, look at SC this year. Like, I'm calling the Oregon State SC game Saturday night on the Pac-12 network, and Jordan Addison and Caleb Williams both should be in the conversation for the Heisman. They're killing it right now. Like, why not? Like, you could argue tight end at Georgia is like in the conversation.
Brock Bowers. The dude ran a jet sweep in a game for 18 yards. Come on, you're not at tight end. You're not supposed to run a jet sweep, okay? I'm just saying. I mean, that's
not for 18.
Yeah, not for 18. And then he had the shovel Okie where he carried it like a running back as well for a first down. I'm like, the dude is just an athlete. So absolutely, I agree.
Thank you.
All right, so we'll have fun.
This dude is the man. Like, how are you as a defensive coordinator when he starts to move to the other side? You're not like, hey, you got to get wide, push.
Yeah.
How about the rest of them that are on that team? That room is amazing. All right,
so those guys are NFL caliber.
Yeah.
Between Delt, Washington, and whenever we see Gilbert along with Bowers, I mean, they can run 14 personnel and give people problems.
It's scary.
I got a feeling they will.
What else? I know we got to get to more. What else
we'll keep it going. They probably Kent State. I love you. I appreciate you, but good luck this weekend.
What's going on, guys? Rob Doster here, the founder of the Field of 68 and the Field of 12 Media Networks. I wanted to take a quick minute to let you guys know about an exciting new project that we have been working on for the last 3 months. The Almanac, an all-encompassing preview of the 2022-23 college basketball season. We spoke with every single Division I head coach to give you a robust and accurate preview for all 363 Division I college basketball teams. We have predictions for conference finishes for all 32 leagues. We have features on the best freshmen, the best big men, the breakout stars, the coaches on the hot seat, so much more. It is 600,000 words of sheer happiness for the college basketball fan. in your life. The Almanac is going to be available for digital purchase on September 26th for just $19.99, but you can pre-order it today using the promo code HOOPS and save 20%. Just hit the link in the description below.